Today I'm doing another Prashnayantra statement. I will read the statement. It says, Dear all, the statement for today is, study the role of sense organs. As you do standing poses, have your breath and awareness focused on outer corners of the eyes, and then again on bottom of the eyes. Compare the subtle difference between the two in terms of the effect on the mind, as well as the culture of the pose. So I thought we could do 3 standing poses, starting with Vrikshasana, and then Virabhadrasana 2 into Ardha Chandrasana. Okay, so Vrikshasana is tree pose. We're going to repeat it twice on each side. The first time we're bringing the awareness and focused on the outer corners of the eyes. The second time through at the bottom of the eyes. Compare the subtle difference between the two in terms of the effect on the mind as well as culture of the pose. So it is a balancing pose. So if you require, some assistance to balance, you could bring your hand to a chair or to the wall. So for example, you may have a wall, your hand on a chair. So we'll stand in Tadasana, in our mountain pose. Shift the weight slightly to the left leg, really spreading, opening the bottom of your foot. Firm that standing leg. You can turn the right leg out. Bring the foot to the knee, and then up, heel up into that inner groin. Press that whole foot into the inner leg. Resist with the outer leg. Roll this inner thigh out, inner knee out. Front hip bones parallel, lifting up. Armpit chest lifting. Take support if you need. You can have hands beginning at the hips, out to the side, or coming up by your ear, hand at the wall or chair, or arms extending up. Let the navel draw back, the front fall strips moving in. Let your eyes find a steady gaze. Soften the gaze. The gaze is called the drishti. Come to bring your awareness to your breath. And then bring the awareness to the outer corners of your eyes. Stay for 5 breaths. Slowly come down. We'll repeat that to the other side. I'll just come more on the center of my mat. Of course, you can stay with the chair or wall. From Tadasana, shift the weight. So the weight shift to the standing leg isn't like a big shift. It's subtle, where you bring more weight onto the leg. It's not really noticeable in the body. Turning left leg out, foot up. Heel into that inner groin. Let the sole of the foot extend, the whole foot press in. So it's not just the heel, the foot pressing in. And use that to connect the thigh bone back into the hip socket. Roll the inner thigh bone out, inner knee out. Your navel drawing up and back. Bringing the weight on the standing leg to the inner foot as much as the outer foot. Soft, stable gaze. Lift the side body up, the inner arm up, and the awareness, 5 breaths to the outer corners of your eyes. Slowly release down, come back to Tadasana, repeat. 5 breaths each side, bringing the awareness to the bottom of the eye. that 5 breaths. Tadasana, Vrikshasana, bottom of the eye awareness. Back to Tadasana. Stay a few breaths. Just note that the culture of the pose, awareness in the breath, the 2 different variations. We'll move into Virabhadrasana 2, which is Warrior 2. I think this time we'll stay on each side, so we'll hold it, maybe 10 breaths each side. Alter that as you need, so maybe it's just 6 breaths each side. The first few breaths, awareness to the outer corner of the eye, and then the bottom, before you go to the other side, and see how that feels. So you can inhale, extend the arms, release the shoulders, bending the knees, step or jump out. Turn the left foot in, cut the right leg out. Front hip bones lifting. Shoulders releasing, but really bring the flush from the back armpit forward, coiling the back ribs in, but keeping the false front ribs in, navel moving up and back. Firm on the back leg. Back leg is like in Tadasana, just at an angle. Front inner thigh rolling out, inner knee, similar to our Vrikshasana as we bend. Inner knee to outer knee, inner thigh rolling out, cutting that standing outer hip, front hip in, keeping back of the head, spine, tailbone in line, so really watch we don't start to shift forward. So you turn your head to the right, bringing the awareness to the outer eye. 5 breaths if you can, you decide. And move the second 5 breaths to the bottom of the eye. Up, go to the other side. Just like tree pose, Vrikshasana, let that gaze be soft forward, not hardening the eyes, like you're looking outward, but the eyes drawing back in the skull. Looking beyond the fingertips. Firm your back leg, roll the front inner leg out. Watch for more dropping the hip down, so it's almost like you're reeling this outer hip in, keeping the torso more or less facing the long edge of your mat, so it's not that we start to turn. It's just the neck turning, the eyes gazing, awareness to the outer corners. Bottom. Inhale, come up, turn the outer foot in, heel toe in, step or jump back to mountain pose, to Tadasana, stay a few breaths. From here we'll work into Ardha Chandrasana, which is our half moon pose. If you feel, again, off balance, because it is another balancing pose, have your hand on a block. You can have the leg that's up, even into a wall. So I'll just quickly show a variation of the foot to a wall. Okay. So you stand, so you need that block. Just move my mat here to the wall. Standing near the wall, step the outer leg out, cut that leg out. So you'll have to kind of play around a little bit with the distance here. Like bend the front knee, step the back foot in, front hand forward. So as you come up, straightening the standing leg, have that up leg foot into the wall. Okay. Then as you come down, come back, and come up. So maybe we'll attempt first time away at the wall, foot at the wall, second time away from the wall. And then those that want to repeat using the wall can. So I have one foot near the wall, the outer leg turning, rotating out. So in all three poses, one of the legs externally rotated. Not just at the inner thigh, but that inner knee. Bending, bringing your hand down, plug the thigh bone in. This front outer hip in all of them cuts in to help roll that inner leg out. Stepping in with the back foot, arm coming forward under the shoulders, so as I straighten the standing leg, simultaneously bringing the outer leg up, push the foot into the wall. Your standing leg, we want it to be perpendicular to the floor, so if it's angled, you'll need to adjust, meaning maybe you're too far from the wall and you're kind of something like this. You can see my standing legs a little bit at an angle, and we also don't want this up leg going up way too high. Okay. Outer hip rolling in, plug those outer hips, right? Push your up foot into the wall, push into the blocks. I'm not hanging in the shoulder. Roll from the lower waist, lower ribs forward. You can look up, cut that outer leg in. If you want, you can extend the top arm, and you can even see on Light on Yoga, arm at the side. Firm on the standing leg, outer hip, you have to keep moving in. And then awareness to outer corners of the eyes. Bottom of the eye. Slowly come down. You can, of course, also keep the head looking forward if that's too much to look up on your neck or for balance. But I'll repeat to the other side. So I will have my back to you just so I can keep that back foot to the wall. Hand under the shoulder, reaching out, step the back foot in. Keep the standing leg, outer hip cutting in. Shoulder, elbow, wrist in line. This upper foot, really watch it doesn't start to go back. That's the tendency, is that foot to go way back. Keep back of the head, spine, tailbone, heel in line. Firm those outer hips. So really cutting this outer hip. Think of that outer standing leg hip going back to your heel, like you're pulling a belt. Cutting that outer hip in. Roll from the lower waist, lower ribs. Looking up or forward. Awareness to the corners of the eyes. Bottom of the eye. Slowly step back down. Come back to Tadasana, to mountain pose. In Tadasana, repeat. Awareness to corners of the eyes. To the bottom of the eye. And just slowly release. You might want to come down to sitting or even lie for a few breaths in Shavasana to reflect, okay? To let the body release. You can come down to a Shavasana. And just to repeat our statement, so we're studying the role of the sense organs. As you do standing poses, have your breath and awareness focused on outer corners of the eyes and then again on bottom of the eyes. Compare the subtle difference between the two in terms of the effect on the mind as well as the culture of the pose. So even Shavasana, awareness to outer corner of the eye. Your eyes can even be closed. How does the awareness there affect the mind, the culture of this pose, your breath? And the bottom of your eyes. Thank you for joining me. A short statement. Please share your feedback on your